Okay, now I'm working on the sweater. And I mixed a lot of colors coming up, trying to come up with just the right color for this. I started out with alizarin crimson plus white plus magenta and cadmium red deep. And that was too red, it was too bright. I wanted the color to be more subtle. So I added my mud into that, and I also added some dioxazine purple plus white. And this has come up with a nice deep purple that I really, really like. So I'm going to, the edges on this, I want to make soft, because this is looks like it's like a cashmere sweater. So the edges would be soft, and then that way that'll also then make the details on her face stand out by keeping these edges soft. And what I do is I just clean my brush out in the thinner and then just drag that over the edge so that see how that becomes soft? And that makes that fall back. Particularly on this shadow side. It pulls a little bit of the background color into that, but that's okay. And then the sleeve comes around. See, I just let that soften into the background. The sweater's not important. It's a dark. I want to keep it dark. It was dark in the original picture. And in fact, let me just zoom out here a minute and you can see I've got my reference shot up on taped up to the easel, but you can see the sweater is dark. And that's just a nice contrast to her face. But let's pull back in here now so you can see. What I'm doing here. Several people have asked me about portrait lighting, and that's something that Jack taught me. He was an amazing portrait artist, and I saw him do many, many portraits over the years. And the portrait lighting is something that he learned from looking at Sargent paintings, Rembrandt paintings, and it just is something that the old masters used. And so Jack picked that up. He taught himself to paint in oils. And he just went to museums all over the world and copied, studied the masters, and really just, that's how he taught himself to paint. And then he taught me to paint, so I feel very, very fortunate. God blessed me. He brought that man into my life. Let's bring this dark here. I can just work around my sketch. I'm going to bring this down a little bit lower. They're not, in the photograph, her sweater really just is gone. There's no detail there whatsoever. So what I did is I went on Google and Googled purple cashmere sweaters. And so that gave me I found a model wearing one that was in a similar position. And so that gave me the folds and how the sweater would drape. Google is a wonderful, wonderful resource. I use it all the time. But I just want to get the softness of this sweater. Again, this is not to be real detailed. But it's just a nice block of color that is going to help accentuate her face. Before I'm going to mix a little more white into my lighter shade. Again, I mixed 3 shades, light, medium, and dark, and now I'm just adding more white to my light shade. I may have her shoulder a little bit broad, but I can come back with my background color and make it a little bit smaller. That's no problem. I just want to get my light here. At least this sweater would not have a lot of, you wouldn't see a lot of detail on it anyway because it is that soft knit. But we just want that color. This light comes down over her shoulder. Kind of a rich berry color. I first thought of red, but I thought that would be too bright. Wanted something a little softer and subtler. I also mixed a little bit of my background color into this, just so that the two would, they call that marry, like a join, that they would be very compatible. Now we'll bring this collar. Now this is a maul stick. I use this, I hook this over the top of my easel, and this was actually, it's a hook, it's on about a 6-foot pole that we bought at the Container Store. It's originally designed to lift clothes off of a tall clothes rack in a retail store. But when Jack saw these, he said, oh my gosh, that would be an absolutely perfect maul stick. So we got these in probably 1997, 1998 at the Container Store in San Diego, California. And I had one of my YouTube watchers contacted me the other day and said they are still available at Container Store, and they are still $19.95. So how's that? That's exactly what we paid for that in either 1997 or 1998. That's pretty cool. Not many things have not changed prices since 1997 or 1998. I am going to put just kind of a shoulder seam in here for the sweater. And I can use, again, this is that bright brush, square brush, and I can just turn it sideways and make that line. These are synthetic sable. I prefer these to the bristle. It's a little bit, the bristle brushes just, they splay out and they get, I just don't like them. They're too rough, they're too hard. I like the synthetic sable. Boy, that's hard to say. Because it gives, I just like the way they work better. I can really get some nice brush strokes and bring a little bit more light here over her shoulder. Get a little bit bigger brush now. Bring this light down where it just slides down her shoulder. There we go. And then I need to make the, where her arm, where the material folds back under her arm, over her arm, on this arm here. Let's make those brush strokes a little bit I want them all to follow the folds. And then we'll bring this where she's got it pushed back up over her arm. Again, this is I don't want much detail down here. I just want her arm and the sweater to fade off. Again, the center of attention is her face. The hands and the sweater and all are their support. They're the supporting cast. Now I want to soften this shoulder, soften where that comes around behind her neck, and I am going to add a little bit more highlight just on the neck of this sweater. Where it folds over. There we go. Her neck actually comes down right there. So that sweater comes around behind. And then we're going to soften this edge a little bit. I want to make this shoulder just a little bit narrower. But first let me bring my dark in here. I'm going to save my background color and my sweater color because I may need to come back later and like work around her hair and her arm and I save those colors. It's very important to save those colors because it's very hard sometimes, like with this background color, I've mixed a lot of different colors in there and it's not real easy to come back and match that. So let's narrow this shoulder just a little bit. There we go. Got it actually almost too narrow, so let's just we can come back. Sometimes you just have to work at it. Got it a little bit too pointed, too square there. There we go. And I just want to soften this. Almost let that fade into the background. There we go. That's the sweater. I thank you so much again for watching my YouTube videos. To see the rest of this piece, just go to my blog. The link is in the description below. The address is also on the final frame of the video. And today, be encouraging to somebody. Be a cheerleader. So many people just get discouraged because they hear so many people say, oh no, you can't do that. So just give them some attaboys. Say, hey, you've done a great job. Yes, you can do that. And particularly other artists, let's help them. You have a great day and thank you again.